I'm going to stop there for now. And of course, I will definitely be talking a little bit about the rest of the very impressive resume of Dr. Stephen Akintayo. I'd like to bring you on the platform. If you could please kindly spotlight Dr. Stephen Akintayo, please. Kindly spotlight Dr. Yeah, I'm asking for you to spotlight alongside with me. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What an impressive resume you have. How has it been? How has the journey been?
It's been, like entrepreneurial journey, tough, mixture of sweet, bad, good, ugly, but it's been worth it in spite of the challenge. We all know how it is trying to run a business. And in our case, we started, very small with 1,000 naira, no funding, and growing it from 1,000 naira company to a multi-billion naira corporation wasn't easy at all. And we did it without taking any loan from the bank till today.
Wow.
Yeah, so that has been a tough one, but we thank God for where we are today. And we're glad to be here.
Wow. So you talked about the challenges. We're definitely going to ask you a lot more questions about that later. So it's been challenging, you said some of the issues are things that we know. Would like you to tell us what are some of the challenges that you've had. It's exciting to talk to an entrepreneur who's been able to break through and still standing, because we know quite a lot of people who started and they're not here today. So tell us some of these challenges that you've had. It would be great to hear.
Well, funny enough, yesterday was our 14th year anniversary, 21st of May, 2008 we started. After when we started in Nigeria, one of the challenges we had was lack of mentorship, and it's one of the reasons why I had to, people don't know why I invest so much in mentorship, conferences, seminars, because I just didn't have people who have done what I was trying to do. It wasn't easy assessing those who have done it. It wasn't easy to have somebody saying, this is how to go about it. I often say that a mentor is a father that gives you feather to fly. One of the major challenges we face as African entrepreneurs is that those who have gone ahead of us don't write books. If you make $1 million in America and the UK, you write a book about how I made £1 million. But we have some of the richest people in Nigeria. They don't have a book. So in fact, 2 years ago, I had to write one of my books. I've written 37 books now. One of the books I authored is called The Billionaire Habit and the Billionaire Code. I had to do that because I wanted to help a lot of other people who are starting from nothing and want to grow to know what is the pathway, because I never got that. Funding, of course, is a major one. In fact, when we went into real estate, a lot of people said we're not going to survive without funding. But when I saw how people who took loan from the bank, one day the bank will come and say that they defaulted, which sometimes you have to default. It's business, and business is not easy. And you see a situation where they will sell the loan to AMCON. AMCON will come and destroy and take over the entire estate, and other people who have invested will not be considered. If I had one that the man paralyzed. So seeing that again, so taking loan was scary, because you know that a lot of people had invested in your estate, and if you take loan, if you default, they take over the entire estate, and they will not consider those who have, and you lose the entire credibility. So that was difficult as well, doing business without taking loan. It then meant that I needed to market. Today I'm very visible, I'm online, I'm active. So it's whatever we sell, we work with, right? As we sell, we expand. As we sell, we expand. But we thank God today, our London branch is one of the sponsors of this alumni event. I'm sure You guys are
I was going to say that, don't let the cat out. Oh, hold on. Hold on.
Yes, so we're also in Dubai, we're in US, and we're in different cities in Nigeria. So to God alone be the glory.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Very impressive. It is almost impossible to, in a financially hostile, and when I say hostile, Nigeria swings both ways. And that's my very, very layman's view.
Yeah.
It swings both ways. It is either you're up there, you have all the contact, you make it, you break through. If you're down there, it can be extremely vicious. And breaking through sometimes takes a lot of what's the word, grit. And one of it is what you just mentioned now, mentorship. I see you have a fantastic target. How do you intend to meet that target of raising 1 million millionaires?
Technology. Technology, so one of the things I did recently was to start an online university, which is the first wealth university in the world. And you have trainers like Robert Kiyosaki, John Maxwell, Grant Cardone, Grant Tracy, in the university. So their courses are there, their programs, because I've hosted all of them. And we've had to put in my own content over spanning almost a decade about principles of success and business, investment opportunities, what to do, what not to do. If you're going to invest in high-risk investment, like crypto, forex, buying of shares, how do you go about it? If you're going to invest in real estate, what are things to look at for? How do you structure your own personal finance in such a way that in crisis, in recession, you're still going to be standing? So we've had to put all that together, and we're glad that we're almost 5,000 right now. And we've not even started massive campaign for the university. So ultimately, over time, we have over 1 million people in that university. And if we can just be chunking out as many of them to be able to practicalize what we've done and what they can use to move to the next level, it's going to be possible. I'm particular and passionate about Blacks. I see that, we talk a lot about racism. We cannot have racism until we end poverty among Black people. It's just the real fact. It's not possible for me to be a white guy, own the entire company, and I don't even have a Black guy in my senior management level, except for securities, for cleaners. And you see as, even when I'm just correcting the person, you see it as racism. So, but when Blacks begin to own, real massive companies, unicorns, own assets, look at what, and that's why I love what you guys are doing. I'm proud that we're part of this, because community is where the wealth is. Look at what the Indians and the Pakistanis have done, even in the UK. That's why you have a Pakistani mayor in London, right? What do we do amongst ourselves? We tear ourselves apart. We fight ourselves. We shout. Everybody.
Hold on, Dr. Akintayo. I don't want us to go there yet. I want us to take it in steps by step about the university, creating 1 million millionaires. So the university at the moment, you have 5,000 students. Am I right? Or
yes.
What's the admission? Just in case we have anyone on the platform who may be interested or would like to refer someone there, what's the admission system like? What's the admission process?
Everything is virtual. You go to the site, you sign up. It's a monthly payment program. Okay. You sign up, you take your course. There's a quiz at the end of every course, and every course has a certificate. So you can take a course on real estate investment, for example. You can take a course on investing in shares. There are now opportunities to do what we call fractional shares, where you can buy Apple stock, Amazon stock, but a fraction of it, which is from as little as $50. There's so much, and it's unfortunate that ignorance is our biggest problem, right? And sometimes I love that you are doing this, because we don't invest in wanting to say there must be a way out. There must be some alternative somewhere. We need to break out of this, 15 pounds an hour, 20 pounds an hour lifestyle. And that's what we've done with the university, where you can then go through, that. And if you now want to upgrade to a group coaching where there's now a class for a team of 20, 30 people on a weekly basis, holding you by the hand, you can upgrade to that as well. And you can also upgrade to a one-on-one where you have a lecturer assigned to just you and is able to customize conversation around how you can build your own personal.
Wow, this is sounding really exciting. And how much is this? Is this free or is this something you pay for?
It's not free. It's $247 every month, but we have a discount now for $47 every month.
And peradventure, any EKSU students wants to join, are you giving us discount so that we could just, use an EKSU code there, EKSU at 40?
Yes, yes.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll be glad to do that. We'll be glad to do that. Why not? Why not? Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. For those who may have heard what Dr. Akintayo said earlier, and I also kind of alluded to it at the beginning of this hot seat or whatever you want to call it, this is a takeoff of a week celebration of EKSU at 40. Today we're starting first with hearing from the serial entrepreneur, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. He's told you quite a bit about himself. And I was actually reading his bio and I have not finished. I haven't even gone, I think I've just gone about a third of it, but I wanted us to hear from him instead of me just reading out what he's written. I'm going to quickly play on the screen. For those of you who are here, please just bear with me. I'm going to play the gala. It's actually a proper, it's not gala night, it's a proper network dinner. It's a ball event, a proper ball event. And for those who may not have bought their tickets yet, we're going to share the ticket on the screen. And hopefully, okay, we're going to share this ticket on the screen, and hopefully you will buy the ticket. We still have tickets up for sale. Hopefully you buy the ticket. Bear with me one moment, just about to share on the screen the video. Okay, this is playing up now.
Alumni UK and Ireland present Ekiti State University.
Okay, I'm going to have to do this again. Bear with me one moment.
You drive London SE10 0TW. Guest of honor on the Alumni UK and Ireland present Ekiti State University Ekiti at 40 Founders Day Dinner and Gala UK on Sunday the 29th of May 2022 at the O2 Intercontinental Hotel, 1 Waterview Drive, London SE10 0TW. Guest of honor on the night, Professor Edward Olorunshola Olanipekun. Highlights: special recognitions, cocktail reception, 3-course dinner, raffle draw, American auction, live performances, and music by DJ Abbas. Dress code: black tie or traditional. Time: 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Tickets: early bird are £75, full price tickets are £85. For more information, please log on to eksu.eventbrite.co.uk, call the numbers on screen or the email. Remember, it's Ekiti State University Ekiti at 40 Founders Day Dinner and Gala UK on Sunday the 29th of May 2022 at the O2 Intercontinental Hotel, Greenwich, London. See you there. Ireland present Ekiti State University Ekiti at 40 Founders Day Dinner and Gala UK.
Okay, I'm sure you would have all heard that. We are hoping that a lot more people will join. Dr. Akintayo is going to be there. Are you going to be there on Sunday?
My team is going to be there, but I'm currently not in the country, but we'll connect somehow.
Okay, we'll connect somehow. Okay, that's fantastic. And like he said already, he is one of the sponsors for the event on Sunday, the 29th of May. If you have not bought your ticket yet, please buy the ticket. We're going to ask for the link to the Eventbrite for it to be put on the chat box. If somebody could kindly put it on the chat box, please, that would be very helpful. If somebody could kindly put it on the chat box, that would be really, really helpful. Okay, so we continue with what we were saying earlier. I needed to just punctuate that a little bit for us to take a break You talked about the Stephen Akintayo Internet University, your plan to raise in 1 million millionaires. Now let's talk about mentorship. You mentioned something about mentorship, and I noticed that you're quite passionate about mentorship. Why mentorship? What's the advantage? What's the difference between mentorship and coaching? Why do you think mentorship would help with raising millionaires instead of coaching?
Oh, beautiful. So usually the word is used interchangeably, coaching, mentorship. But coaching is a lot more subtle. A coach literally pulls out the solution from you. And I think that works a lot more in counseling. But in business, in terms of mentorship, it's almost 50-50. Your mentor is bringing 50% of the strategy and advice. You also, bringing 50% in terms of your execution. And so, but either way, we definitely need a lot more than just some subtle, what do you think now? In business. In business, you really need somebody who's gone ahead, who knows the ropes, and for the person to specifically tell you, Babima Babe, like we say in Yoruba, take this, don't do that. And one powerful thing we see them even studying in Harvard is the apprenticeship model, and we've seen a whole lot of businesses have grown because of that, where you go and work for somebody for some years, and then you then start your own. In fact, why Harvard is studying that even now is because we're realizing that there's a need to tweak the conventional educational university system to be able to really deliver. Because right now you have Nigeria, for example, unemployment is 33%. Now, if you look at over 200 million, that means that about 60 million people.
Did you say 33% in Nigeria? Did you say 33%?
Yes, unemployment.
I thought it was higher. I thought unemployment is higher than 33%. Yes,
the official figure is 3%, and that's over 60 million people, right? And the solution to that is, so all of us can't keep looking for a job. That's why this is important to me. Everybody can't keep looking for a job. Some people have to, start a business. And if the business will then survive and not die in 3 years, like the record has shown, that over 70% of businesses die in 3 years. If they will not die, somebody who is ahead has to begin to okay, this is how you go about it. However, it's not always going to be free, because you are telling the person to leave his business and come and attend to you. So it's either you pay for it or you serve. Those are the two ways to access mentorship. You either pay or you serve the person. So a lot of those that I have as mentor, Grant Cardone is my real estate mentor. I pay the man. This year I'm paying $1.6 million, right? I'll be hosting him in the UK in October. And it's costing me $1.6 million just this year alone in mentorship fee and speaking fee, because he's speaking for me at events as well. But I also have someone like Cosmos Maduka, who I'm not paying, but I'm providing some form of service, some form of works that in exchange has generated and created his ability to give me time. So many of us are mentors because we want it to be free. We want them to just leave their business, live their life, and just focus on us. And that's a bit not realistic. Donald Trump, before he became president, had a real estate program that was charging as much as $100,000. And Americans don't see that as wrong. Grant Cardone has a real estate asset worth $8 billion. His mentorship program is as high as hundreds of thousands of dollars. Nobody in America thinks the guy is greedy or the guy is, but it's the culture in that part of the world that, what, if I want to know what you know, I should pay for it. But in Africa, everybody expects it free. So many of our rich men and women are not even encouraged to invest time and energy to begin to mentor and teach people, because at the end of the day, what is the need for the time and effort they have put in? And it's also important to know that nobody values what they get for free, right? It's a rule
That's true.
over again, right? People ultimately will take seriously whatever comes at a cost. You're not going to joke with it. You're going to run with it, and you're going to execute it to the best of your ability.
Thank you very much. It's really nice hearing the way you've broken it. Like you rightly said, oftentimes people mix mentorship and coaching together, and they're different. And that's why I wanted you to expatiate on what the difference between mentorship, the values. Coaching is good, but mentorship is more long-term. Coaching is very time-spaced, where 3 months, 6 months, and it's usually towards a target. But mentorship can be forever. You can have a mentor forever who overlooks you in a particular area. And it's good to hear that you talk about the amount of investment you have done. And for anyone who's on the platform who is looking for a mentor, you can connect with Dr. Stephen Akintayo, but just know that it's not going to come free of charge. You have to pay for it. He's just told us how much he's paying this year alone, $1.6 million. For mentorship, but obviously it's because he sees the value in that he receives from the network, from the connection. But before we go to the details about where you are at the moment, let's talk a bit about your background. What is the drive? You were born in Gonje. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Gonje.
Gonge.
Gonge. Okay, thank you for correcting. Yeah, Gonge in Maiduguri, Borno State. Tell us a bit about your background, because we all have a story. Oftentimes what happens to us is that we allow our past, or we allow whatever thing we may have gone through to determine what our future is. This is you, born in Gonge in Borno State some years back, and this is you here. Tell us about your story a bit. What's the drive? What's the passion?
Beautiful, and thank you so much for that. So I was born to a civil servant mother. My dad business had crumbled before I was born. So in fact, I did not see, for a good part, there was no electricity, there was no running water. I saw water closet toilet for the first time at the age of 13. And it was like a miracle. Me and my sibling were jumping around so you can flush, wow, this is amazing. But one thing that was key was, I remember my mom used to take me to our neighbor and my siblings to borrow money to send us to school, because she was a breadwinner. And I hated that. Sometimes we will leave them, they won't borrow us the money, and they look at my mom in a very annoying way. And that, got me to say that there's just nothing to celebrate about poverty. Sometimes I see how people try in Africa to glorify poverty or find there's nothing to be proud of in being poor, right? And two poor people cannot help themselves. I watched the same mother, by the way, die of ovarian cancer because we couldn't afford good medical treatment. And may you not go through some of what I have been through to get to snap out of that, what do I call it now? That pity party of, is heaven we're all chasing. By the way, I'm chasing heaven. In fact, my name should be there. But I want to experience it while on earth as well, because, there's just nothing to love. And that's part of what I keep sharing with Africans. There's nothing to love about poverty, right? We need to build wealth, and we need to empower others to build wealth as well. But for me, that was the driver. I hated the poverty we went through. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to change. And that was very, very important to me. I remember we recently my family moved to Banana Island. I work mostly from Dubai office. And when my wife sent me the bill of the children, none of them is in secondary school yet, but it was almost 5 million naira. And I said, I went to OSU for the entire, if I spent 8 years instead of 5 years due to ASU strike. For the entire 8 years, I didn't spend 5 million. So what, but it then dawned on me that I've come a long way, right? Because it was me that my own parents couldn't even afford those government school and still have to be borrowing money. And even at the level of primary school, I could afford the best school, for my kids. And that's really part of it. And when I look at what, in fact, to celebrate our 14th year when Lagos Food Bank, when I saw the faces of all those mamas that would give food and their prayers and the joy, and you would then see the good things money can do and why you need money for good reasons. And for me, that's why I'm passionate about. Not just that I'm making and I'm pushing to do well, is to also see as many people that one can encourage to build wealth for good reasons. Every year I send average of 1,000 kids to school, right? In fact, the other day I remember signing some of the checks for the next batch, and it gives joy that the same guy whose mother used to borrow now is sending to school. So that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I really didn't want to read that out from your bio. I thought it would be better for us to hear. I might just say to all of us on the platform, if you have any questions for Dr. Akintayo, please put them on the chat box. Unfortunately, I cannot read what's in the chat box. I'm going to be asking Lola to kindly read them for me at the stage sometime today before we wrap up. So if you have any questions for Dr. Akintayo, please put them in the chat box. And Dr. Akintayo, can I ask as well for the link to your university? I know you said it's online. If you can kindly put it on the chat box, it would be really helpful. One key thing that I hear from you is the fact that you have a journey, you have a story, and your journey and your story birthed where you are today. And perhaps there's anyone on the platform who is struggling through whatever circumstance, business concept they have. Let's listen to what Dr. Akintayo is saying today. Whatever success story he's referring today, he is mentioning the fact that he benefited from mentorship, and that's why he's put the Wealth Academy together. He's talked about the need for you to invest in you. Don't expect anything you get for free, you will not value. So please do know that if you're asking Dr. Akintayo for his contact, you're going to have to pay some dosh for it. You'll have to pay some dosh for it. Now let's look forward. We've talked about where you're coming from. We've talked about what you're doing at the moment. Now let's talk about the future. What do you see about the future? Apart from the fact that yes, you plan to raise at least 1 million millionaires. You've told us how you will achieve that. What's the future like for Nigeria? What's the future like for those of us in diaspora? And what are the few advice you'd like to give to us?
Very good question. I love that. The future is bright, but more importantly, the future is what we make of it. It's in our hands. Just like I turned my own future around with my decision to seek knowledge on wealth creation and investing in that, the same way we all can change the destiny of Nigeria. And I ultimately believe it's in the hands of Nigerians in diaspora. I think, enough of complaining. In fact, people don't know why I invest a lot amongst Nigerians in diaspora. I always say that the solution to Nigeria will come from those in diaspora because you can't give what you don't have. Those back at home have not seen it better. So there's just no, you've not seen good road, you've not seen good electricity, you've not seen where there's a system that works. How can you fix what? Because you don't think there's anything broken. But those of you who have, seen a better environment, you're the one that will turn it around. In diaspora brings in over $5 billion back into Nigeria every year. But guess what we use all that money to do? Oh, my cousin asked for $100. Oh, my sister. And we're enabling, joblessness, we're enabling irresponsibility rather than begin to say, no, I'm not just going to dole out money. You know, I want to build a system. I want to empower the people at home. Are there vocational skills? Are there mentorship on how to build wealth? Are there seminars you can attend? Because if I give you $200 today, I still need to give you another next month, right? So we cannot continue, and that's very important. Some of us also are so scared to invest back at home. I'm putting in $20 billion in real estate in the next 15 years. You know, we started that journey 7 years ago. So by the year 2035, we will have done 55,000 green and smart home in 200 estates with golf course, with polo club. And people keep asking me, you are now in UK, you are now in US, you are now in Dubai. You don't need to keep investing back in Nigeria. Nigeria is doomed. And I'm saying, I can't get the kind of profit that I'm making in Nigeria. I can't get that in UK, right? I mean, a good portion of my money goes to Mama Charlie, you know, I mean, same, you know, in taxes. So you get a lot more. Yes, the risk is higher, yes, but with mentorship, with the right counsel, with the right guidance, you can still do well in that part of the world. You can have assets in that part of the world. You just need to understand how to go about it. Because like I said, many of us just, like one of the common things we do, those of us in diaspora, a cousin of you is asking for, let's say, $500, and you say things are tight. Suddenly you want to buy a land in Nigeria, and you call the same cousin to say you go and inspect a land or a house worth $20,000 for you. Now, what do you think you are telling that cousin? You're wicked. That's what you're saying to that cousin. That he has asked you for $500. You say you don't have it. Now you are telling him to go and help you negotiate $20,000. Now, they don't know that maybe that $20,000 was a loan from the bank. They don't know, you know, they don't understand all that. But again, almost as if you want to brag to family members, you bring them into every of your investment. And at the end of the day, you get swindled and you say, Nigeria is bad. I mean, I have billions in assets in Nigeria, and I don't have a single family member that works with me. I don't have a single family member that I consult to do any investment with me, right? I go straight to what I want to do. I do my research. I have my structure, and I have mentors who help to guide me in doing it, who have done better than I have done, and can tell me what to do, and I'm able to get the results. So we all need to do the same, and we'll be fine. So that's my advice. And lastly, in diaspora, own something. If you're not going to invest back in Nigeria, invest in real estate in the UK, in the US. I'm tired of seeing our people not investing, right? We spend so much money impressing people that don't care. And it's time to pull energy together, resources together, and begin to own assets in the developed world. The Pakistanis, the Indians, it's no mistake that Pakistani is the mayor of London. Go and check most of the real estates in the UK is owned by Pakistanis and Indians. In America, it's the same. They invest, Chinese the same. They pull resources together, they own assets, and because they own assets, whoever owns the real estate determine the law of the land, influences the politics of the land. You know, enough of just protest. It's time to protest by owning wealth, building wealth and owning assets. And a mortgage, okay, is not an asset except you are fully paid for it. It's only a mortgage that is bringing in liquidity. The house you won't pay for, that is your house that you live in, it's not an asset, it's a liability, except you are renting it out and people are paying rent for that house. That's when it's an asset. So I see us brag about things that we just don't understand that they are not even assets, right? They are some form of liability in one way or the other. So it's time to get a business coach, an investment coach, and build your wealth. God bless you.
Thank you so much. You've said quite a lot there in very few words. I wish we had a lot of time to drill out and squeeze out a lot more information from you. You said quite some key things about investment, teaching people how to fish and not just giving them fishes. It's important to teach them how to fish. And I like the analogy you gave about sending money home to somebody you've told, go and help me survey this land, when the person had either to asked you for some money. It's something very, very clear. And you've talked about the diaspora investment in Nigeria and how we should not throw Nigeria totally away. Thank you so much for all the things you said. There have been some few questions on the chat box, like I said. I cannot read them for one very funny reason today. So I'm going to ask Lola to kindly.
Yes, I've got two questions here. The first one is from Mr. Lade. Dr. Akintayo, you mentioned Robert Kiyosaki. Do you think his strategy of leveraging in acquiring properties can be realized in Nigeria, where the mortgage market is cash and carry?
Beautiful question. Thank you for that. The answer is no. However, there are other ways to leverage in Nigeria. So in Nigeria, if I was with Zenith Bank and I was sharing with the leadership as well, I said, why don't you commercial banks, think of, mortgage in Nigeria the way it's been done in other parts of the world? So Nigeria doesn't have that yet. So it's more of cash and carry. But the strength or where the money in Nigeria is, if you are not having so much money to start, is in land banking. But you just have to do it right. You need to have the right, information, the right mentors. So I'll give you an example. I have an estate that we acquired 2.5 years ago. It was going for 1.5 million per plot. As of today, it's 15 million naira per plot, right? In fact, sometimes people ask me, how did you build your wealth? I said, there are estates that I acquired for 750,000 naira, and I got over 50 acres. And today they are going for 10 million. So you can do the maths. And it wasn't that I had all the money for the 50 acre when I started. I was paying in installment, but while I was paying, the value of that area was going up. However, like I said, just because you heard me say land banking, you jump in. There's a lot of pitfall. There's a monile. There's a whole lot. So again, you see why we go back to mentorship, right? Where you need people who can help you in this whole thing. So it's not as if some of these things are not possible. It's that sometimes we don't have the network, the relationship that can help us get this thing done in a way that we can do them safe, secured for the future. But at this moment, you can't totally practice what Robert Kiyosaki says in Nigeria. However, there's an arm of it, there's a face of it, there's a dimension of it that you can still practice. One of it is land banking.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Second question, I can see some comments here about, this is from Omotayo Adeola, and she's just mentioned, and I know as well, that there are mortgages in Nigeria, and I know people are taking mortgages. However, I know that the interest rates are extremely high. That's just one thing I will say. There are mortgages in Nigeria, I'm aware of that, but the interest rates are high. But thank you very much, Dr. Akintayo, for that answer. Over to you, Lola, for the next question, please.
Mr. Odutola asked, do you pay tax in Nigeria? I mean, pay real tax on what you own?
So basically, there are two tax that you have in Nigeria. You have income tax, and you have the normal assets. You can call it profit tax or asset tax. So income tax, I pay tax in Nigeria. My company pay tax. I pay personal tax, even though I shouldn't pay, because I practically now, I live in Dubai now. But I still pay income tax because I believe strongly in the importance of tax. But Nigerian tax is not as big as you pay in the UK or in the US. And I also live in Dubai because Dubai, you keep everything, you don't pay income tax in Dubai, right? So you also have that opportunity with Dubai. And we have massive real estate projects in Dubai. So there are ways around, because real estate as well, even in UK and US, is a way to really preserve money and not have all your money go in taxes. Real estate is one of those ways, actually, even in developed parts of the world. And there are ways around it to make sure that you pay tax, but you pay your own fair share, and not that, because that's what's happening in developed parts of the world. Many of us, if you look back, I've spent 20 years, I've spent 30 years. If you put together how much you pay in taxes, right, you realize that a lot has gone. And the system is so wired to just keep you, almost like working for the government. And that's part of what Robert Kiyosaki is teaching in his book, that you can leverage on just taking loan. And we teach this for those in the UK and the US. We have helped a lot of people acquire property in the UK, where they're able to leverage on what Robert Kiyosaki teaches, and you're able to use loan to grow your asset. And I mean, in 10 years, I can clearly show anybody who's interested how you can, build $1 million, £1 million real estate asset easily using debt, so those parts of the world, the system is clear and easier, unlike in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for that answer. I think there's another question that popped up. Lola, if you could help me with that.
Yes, Mr. Rahman is asking, is it true Nigerian real estate is overvalued compared to the rest of the world?
Absolutely no. And the reason is because of the, what we call the housing deficit. You have an housing deficit of about 20 million in Nigeria. The rest of the world, for example, in the UK and the US, is a developed market, right? So the houses are majorly already built. So in Nigeria today, most people don't have access to good shelter. You go to Ajegunle, in one room, you see 20 people in one room. You go to a lot of the suburbs, you see a whole lot. So when you have that level of, the demand and insecurity has put pressure more on places like Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. A lot of the people in the north have had to move to Abuja for safety, right? So that put pressure on the prices. Real estate is demand and supply, right? Same thing, security in other parts has put pressure on Lagos. Lagos now has over 70,000 people moving to Lagos every day. The land in Lagos is not increasing, right? The houses in Lagos are not being built as fast as they should, infrastructure, all of that. So, which is part of why the profit margin is then high. I mean, I cannot have made 1,000%. I told you a property I got for 1.5 million 2.5 years ago is going for 15 million. I can't get that in UK. I can't get that in US. And the only reason I'm getting that in Lagos is also because of the demand, right? There's huge demand. Everybody needs real estate one way or the other. The land isn't increasing. The population is growing. People are still giving back to 8 children, 5 children, 10 children in Nigeria. So it's a real crisis. In fact, people don't know that part of what's fueling insecurity and poverty in Nigeria is population growth. And that's why it now looks as if one government, the former government is better than the new government, even though it looks as if the new government claims to have put in money. Everything is not corruption. The volume of population growth is higher than the resources available to provide infrastructure for them. And that's why, appreciation, capital appreciation in real estate in Nigeria is way ahead of inflation, is way ahead of, the dollar rise versus Naira, way ahead. But of course, you need to deal with professionals who can break down the numbers for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. We have one last question and we're going to round up. We want to say thank you to everyone who has joined us on the platform today. Just a quick reminder about our programs this week. I know that Lola would give us, she's one of the members of the planning committee planning this anniversary week-long event. She will talk us through the various activities that we have, but just reminding everybody again that the ticket for this time next Sunday, everybody will be in that hall at the Intercontinental Hotel O2, wining and dining. So if you have not bought your ticket, please, the link has been put on the chat box. Don't forget to pick a ticket or two. It's not just for those who went to OSUA, it's or UNAD or EKSU or OAU, whatever you want to call it, whichever you want to recognize or align with. It's for friends and families as well. And we'd like to acknowledge the donations that we received from Dr. Akintayo. He has supported and donated towards this gala night, networking night, banquet night, whatever word you want to use to qualify it. It's old schoolmates coming together and having fun, laughing, dancing, raffle prizes to be won. You've seen the video that was played earlier. And of course, we're going to have our very own DJ Abbas spinning the table on the night. He's going to be there spinning, you know how they spin, how they turn the table. He's going to be turning the table on the night. One last question, and then we're going to be rounding up tonight. Lola, we'll only take one last question. Okay.
We actually have two questions, but they are similar. They're asking, is there any other good investment companies other than real estate, especially for anyone planning to retire in Nigeria?
Okay. So other than real estate, there are several vehicles for growing wealth. My rule, and this is in my book, to avoid Ponzi scheme, any high-risk investment vehicle must be done by yourself. Technology has made it easy now. There are apps where you can trade Forex. There are apps you can buy crypto, but make sure you get mentored and not that you're giving somebody your money and then they determine what happened. And look at how crypto has crashed. If you are giving somebody your money, there's just no way you believe them that it wasn't them that did something, right? So, but the technology has made it easy where you can just do these things on your own. I have several students we've mentored. They're able to trade by themselves without any third party. And they're doing very well. They've made way more, and we're able to guide them. Oh, this is about to crash, sell it, right? Buy now. All those things we have been able to help a lot of people who have learned through what we teach. There is also a place of fractional investment. And by the way, a lot of these things you also learn in the university. That you can start buying Apple shares, Facebook shares, Tesla shares has been up and up in the last 2.5 years without coming down at all. And you can buy a fraction of that. And there are several other vehicles, but again, there are some things we cannot just share on social media. They are strictly for students who have solicited for them, and we're able to mentor and guide them. But yes, there are a lot. My advice is just that 3 types of investment: low risk, mid risk, and high risk. Know what category the type you're going into. Get the knowledge of investment before the investment itself. Unfortunately, many of us are penny wise, pound foolish. You think that there's so much they are charging you for the knowledge, and so why not just go into it? And then you lose so much, right? So much. There's no year I don't spend millions of dollars in training, even the ones I organize, paying for the speakers, and it has helped me to keep getting better, to have good relationship, to network, because there are 3 dimensions to wealth. Your first 100,000 pounds will come through hard work. Your first 1 million pounds will come through smart work. But your first billions will come through network. right? Two poor people cannot help themselves. One must first get to the top before it throws the rope to pull the other up. If all your friends are billionaires, it's a matter of time you'll be one of them. If all your friends are poor and they are begging you for money, even if you are rich now, it's a matter of time you'll be on the ground. So it's time to start making the right decisions.
Wow.
Thank you very much for that. I'm very conscious of time. Today is meant to be for 1 hour, but I know we started late. Apologies once again that we started about 10 minutes late. And now we spend about an hour, 10 minutes as well. About 12 minutes. We'd like to say thank you so much for joining us. We still have two more virtual sessions this week. But I'm going to hand over to Lola. Lola, are you able to just explain what the rest of this week looks like?
Just give me a second.
You're going to wrap up. You're going to wrap up. Oh, okay. You're still going to wrap up. Oh, so please stay. There's still one question I have for you, but I just want Lola to just mention, to talk about the activities we have, because there was one key thing you said, and I'd like to pick up on that, and that is quite key for those who are on the platform. I'm liking the questions and the suggestions of the activities in the chat box at the moment, especially about real estate, mortgages. Somebody wrote trading, what 212. Everybody's putting that on. It's fantastic. So there's something I'm going to ask you after. Lola, please, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight. This is to start off our 40th year anniversary of our university, Ekiti State University, as it is known now. We have today, which is the starting off. The VC will be arriving tomorrow with some of the dignitaries from Nigeria. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will be their time to get to know London. And on Thursday, there will be a Zoom meeting. It will be a virtual meeting with the VC and the Global Alumni President. So all those questions that you have, bring them to the Zoom meeting. It will be an opportunity to ask the alumni president what's his plan for networking, what's his plan for the uni. It will be an opportunity to ask the VC what is his plan for the future of Ekiti State University. And if you are like me, you have issues with your transcript, you've got questions about your transcript, your certificate, that will be an opportunity to ask the VC. On Thursday, that will be Thursday, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And Friday morning, the VC and the dignitaries will be going to Scotland. So there they will have the opportunity to meet face-to-face with alumni from Scotland. On Saturday, we are having a special anniversary lecture. It will be on Zoom as well, because one thing we want to achieve is that we want the VC to go back to Ado with ideas to make our university even better. So the topic, the theme of the talk is, how can a Nigerian university survive in the present economic ongoing? So we have as our keynote speaker a Vice Chancellor from University of West Bristol, Professor Paul Olomolaye. And then on the panel, we have the VC, we have the Global Alumni President, Engineer Bamishayi, and we have one of our alumni as well, Dr. Tope Fasua, who is a noted economist from Nigeria. So they will be sharing ideas on how our university can progress. So we are also invited to log on. So if we have questions that we want to ask this panel, or we have suggestions on how we can make our university better. Right now, we are voted the second best state university in Nigeria. We want to be the top dog. So this will be an opportunity for us to be one. Then on Sunday is the grand finale, where we will meet each other and see again. We've all survived COVID, we survived pandemic, we survived Ado, we survived the Morocco, we survived all those years. So this will be an opportunity to compare notes. So buy your ticket if you haven't. Invite your friends. It's not just EKSU people, invite your friends. Let's make it a night or evening, night to remember, actually. Thank you. Councillor, I give back to you.
Thank you so much for that detailed account. Looking forward to seeing you all on Thursday and also on Saturday. Promises to be very, very exciting. Write your questions out. There is a Slido account that we've set up, and it is EKSU at 40. So if you have any questions, just go to Slido. For those of you who are conversant with Slido, it's sli.do. Write the question ahead of time, and on the day, that's next Saturday, when we put the VC on the hot seat, we will be asking those questions. So don't let's wait till then. Let's ask ahead. So last word from you, Dr. Akintayo, last word from you. You said something very key, and that is about the Pakistani, the Indians, the Chinese, how they have empowered themselves. One man in Nigeria sticks to mind. I mean, he sticks out big time at the moment. Some of you probably will be aware of him. He's an Igbo guy who actually went into a town, pulled out about 100 of them, gave them each $1 million naira. Of course, I don't want to go into details in that. I want to mention his name because there's some bit of, questions and all of that behind the source of his wealth. But the issue is he's empowering. So it's not just about the talk. It's about the practicality. The Indians, they empower themselves. Do you know they don't get mortgages, especially the Bangladeshis that are Muslims? They don't get mortgages. They all come together, pull the money in. You borrow from your uncle, you borrow from your auntie, and then one of the they don't get mortgages. Most of the very older ones, the younger ones now, who are not very strict practicing Muslims, they probably will do mortgage, but most of them, the majority don't get. How do we empower ourselves? Apart from the things you said, Dr. Akintayo, for us in the diaspora, how do we change our current narratives where we're all working in silos and with very discordant tunes? How do we change the narrative? One last word from you.
Thank you very much. I'm also going to be giving a link. I just published my first article on Forbes.com. And I would love to give that link so people can read, because there's a lot that I shared for entrepreneurs. You can read that on Forbes. But onto your question, a very, very good question. I think the first thing is what we're doing here, which is, renewing our minds, right? Which is, awareness, education, conversation. Because the biggest problem of the African man is not the system, it's not the environment, it's the African himself. When we do divorce, it's brutal. As brutal can be. Like, I don't ever want to see you. I mean, we've seen some white people get divorced, you still meet over a cup of tea, a lawyer, my lawyer. We all end it and we move on. Same thing, we drag ourselves. Social media became a tool people have become so wealthy with. We decide to use it as a tool to drag this person is the devil, that one is a 419, this one divorced his wife, and the joy and the hunger for gossip. I've seen several billionaires in my life. I've not seen one that is a gossiper. I've not met one gossiper that's a billionaire. There's nothing there. So we first need to start changing the mindset of our people, that our values need to change towards forgiving ourselves, understanding that there's no best person in our community. If you watch all this Telemundo, all this India movie, Z World, you see 10 families living in one. There's the head of them. They will fight each other, but they will still not leave the house. And everybody still keep contributing money till everybody builds their house. But our own is that once we disagree, we must pieces, we must scatter. So that's the first step. The second step is now, because once we agree that we will, it's called forbearance in the Bible, that we begin to forbear each other. right? We will not be dragging each other. Then we can start coming together and forming what we call financial cooperative. We started the first digital cooperative that is allowing people to do fractional property ownership. We're the first to do that. So now people in our cooperative, 10 of you can come together and own a house in London and share the rent. 20 of you can come together and own a house in Dubai or in Nigeria and share the rent. You see, those are the kind of vehicles we now need to, and technology has made it easy. So it's digital cooperative, you are joining from all over the world. Those are the things we now need to bring once we agree that we want to work together. And from there, it's a matter of time. Before you know it, we'll be counting, right? How, just like these people as well, how somebody got to London with nothing and today has 20 houses, 30 houses through the community. My advice also is for you EKSU guys to also come use probably these alumni, not just to meet and wine and dine and where should I be and DJ Abbas Catagram. Also discuss, how do we create communal wealth, right? Do we set up a cooperative of some sort? Do we begin to leverage on the richer guys amongst the alumni to say, don't dash people money, but can we put together a fund, EKSU, investment fund, right? Can we get consultants that can start looking into the businesses of those that will get access to those grants that will start giving, right? But it's important that we know that there's so much we can do as long as we're united. If you're a Christian, the Bible talks about how God said, he said nothing will be impossible for them as long as they're united. God said that. That's powerful. So there's nothing we can achieve as humans once we come together and pull resources.
Thank you so much. And I love the note on which you ended. Nothing will be, can be, may be impossible if we believe alongside with God. And I believe that was one of the reasons why the language of the people in Babel then was changed. It wasn't because they were building a physical, they were not building a physical tower. It was the power of their mind. And on that note, I'm here to just challenge all of us, EKSU, OSWA, whatever thing you are aligned with, to come together next week, Sunday, Thursday, and also Saturday. Let us talk. There's already an endowment fund, and I'm sure Soji will be talking about that later, not today. Time is far gone. There's an endowment fund that has been instituted already, helping, well, not exactly helping, rewarding those who successfully finished. And some of us here on the platform have actually donated towards that. But we want to go a lot further. It's about how do we in the diaspora create that economy where we're the likes, the first three richest people in UK at the moment are Indians. And you talked very rightly, Dr. Akintayo, and we can start, it's never too late. 14 years ago, you started the conglomerate of your company, and look at this is where you are today, paying $1.6 million for 1 year. So we can. So this is to charge us, to encourage all of us who are here today, that yes, we can. Apart from the fact that we can give back to our alma mater, we can, as a community, create a formidable one where we move forward. On that note, I'd like to say thank you very much on behalf of the planning committee for EKSU at 40. They've done fantastic work. They've worked, I don't know the details, but I know they've done fantastic work. Would like to say thank you so much to Dr. Akintayo. Thank you for sharing your page. We can actually see your page at the moment. Thank you very much for sharing your journey, your story.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you can go to this website, and I have a fantastic article, particularly for those of you entrepreneurs, 6 tips for building your business into an empire. So you can take the picture and read it on Forbes.com. It's a really rich information, and you're going to get a lot of value from it. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.